Afternoon, Mr. Chair, committee members. My name is Dr. Josiah Moses, and I'm a recent graduate in veterinary medicine who practices small animal medicine in Corvallis. And I'm here with the Oregon Veterinary Medical Association in support of this bill. So I know you're very busy, so I'll just talk numbers. So I was fortunate enough to be able to get through my undergraduate and an MBA, acquiring no debt. Through vet school, about 4 years, my debt was about $302,000. Over about 4 years of school, plus another couple years of practice, that now is about $331,000 total. So I attended Ross University, which has similar tuition rates to stateside schools, but does have quite higher living expenses, so that adds up to a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot more than the median student debt for stateside veterinarians. So I'm currently a participant in the income-based repayment program, which essentially it's roughly based off of 10% of your adjusted gross income and some other calculations, and after 25 years there's to be forgiveness. Based on my 2014 tax returns, my income-based repayment will probably be around $515 a month, as opposed to the standard repayment, which would probably be closer to $2,500 to $2,800. So the question is, I think that everybody that participates in the income-based repayment is what's exactly going to happen at that 25-year point. What does that forgiveness look like? Is that taxable income, essentially? So I would hope that any savings I can have, however small, could be put towards saving in the event that I'm expected to have a rather large tax bill at the end of that period, which would be nice to, as they mentioned, to be able to put more towards savings and retirement. I don't regret my decisions to become a veterinarian. It is a heavy debt load. It's something I get to do that I love every day, but I think that it would just be something that would be helpful along the way. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, committee members, good afternoon. My name is Glenn Kolb. I'm director with the Oregon Veterinary Medical Association. Earlier this spring, our national organization, the American Veterinary Medical Association, issued its 2015 economic report of the profession, and that did include debt-to-salary ratio of incoming veterinarians. We've not had a chance yet to reflect and review all of that material, and are looking forward to doing that this fall. But our expectation is that for veterinary medicine, little, if anything, has improved. And what we do know is there was a similar report in 2011, and that data wasn't favorable. And it's pretty sobering. On average, the veterinary graduates reported accrued debt in excess of $142,000, and that has only increased in the last 4 years. And from the same 2011 data, the entry-level salaries of graduating healthcare students versus their debt load were reported as the following. For veterinarians, $66,000 salary, $142,000 debt. Physicians, $137,000 starting salary, $149,000 debt. Dentist, $105,000 starting salary, $180,000 debt, and for pharmacist, $81,000 starting salary and roughly $123,000 debt load. And as you can see, the ratio of debt to income for the average new veterinarian is roughly twice that of MDs. And in some instances, actually, it is more too. We have a current board member. She's coming up on her second year in the profession. Her debt load is $180,000. Her salary is less than $60,000. Her payment monthly is about $1,000, which is more than a home loan she would be paying if she can get one. And so she has concerns as well. I mean, I wish we had a good answer with regard to that debt load and salary in veterinary medicine. We really don't. But we do support House Bill 3342 because any little bit will help, as Dr. Moses has tested to, and as we're hearing from younger veterinarians. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Chair Barnhart, Vice Chair Vega Peterson, and members of the committee. My name is Mario Parker-Milligan. I'm the Legislative Director with the Oregon Student Association, and we're here in support of House Bill 3342. As some of you know, OSA represents over 120,000 students across Oregon's community colleges and universities. In the fall of 2013, we surveyed over 30,000 students on 10 issues ranging from college affordability, textbook affordability, sexual violence on college campuses, public safety reform, and across the board, the cost of college and student debt was the issue that students across the board on all of our institutions identified as an issue that the legislature needs to prioritize. And while we're doing a lot of great work to look at the cost of attending college, there are a lot of graduates and a lot of students and families without degrees even who have left college with significant amounts of debt and little options for them to relieve parts of that debt. At the same time, Oregon is 47th in the nation in per student funding for college. And while we have seen a lot of movement, I've said this before, but while we've seen a lot of movement in addressing affordability, we haven't really seen a lot of options here in the state for students to relieve their debt. So for families or individuals who are paying $300, $500, $1,000 or more dollars a month on student loans, these are payments that are keeping them from saving, from starting families, from purchasing homes or buying cars or doing basic things to keep their families together. So we see this. We see House Bill 3342 as an option for families and individuals to invest in their future and to continue to find financial security. We believe students need these options to relieve parts of their debt as we continue to struggle keeping up with these payment options. As I said, House Bill 33 provides a feasible options for families with significant amounts of debt to relieve parts of it. And by capping the home mortgage interest rate and providing a tax deduction for families paying lots of interest in their loans, we have found a viable option to stimulate a individual borrower's finances long term. So please consider the students and families across the state who are struggling month to month to keep up with their monthly repayment options. And please consider moving this bill out of committee into the floor. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you. For the record, my name is Dave Rosenfeld. I am the Executive Director of OSPIRG, the consumer group. OSPIRG supports House Bill 3342. In short, the written testimony has most of that in there. College debt is a problem. Average Oregon graduate in 2013 is graduating with about $25,000 in debt. You have heard, we reiterate all of the case for why that level of debt is bad for the economy and is putting a drag on a whole bunch of life decisions that young people are making right now. So we obviously have a lot to do. We have done a lot already. At the federal level, since 2008, there have been a number of actions that the federal government has taken to ease loan repayment, put more money into people's pockets to pay for college and whatnot. And that's all a good thing, but obviously we need to do more because there is a problem. This is one very easy way, this bill, to put more funds into people who have debt pockets so they can pay off that debt more quickly and get back into the economy. The pay for is sensible. One, it's great that it aims to be revenue neutral. Two, as Mr. Chair, you alluded to, there are quite a number of compelling arguments that the home mortgage interest deduction actually creates perverse incentives that actually serve as a drag on economic investment and don't actually serve its purpose. That's a separate conversation that ought to be had if you're going to talk about the entire program. Nonetheless, if you're looking at the public interest value of one kind of program, which is using tax dollars to subsidize the payment of loan interest, versus the public interest value of another program where you're using tax dollars to subsidize mortgage interest above $35,000. For us, the public interest value of one versus the other is pretty clear. It would be this bill, so it's a pretty easy gimme for us. And so we support it and we commend Rep. Rayfield for bringing it forward, and thanks for considering it.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Rebecca Sullivan, and I am a third-year veterinary student at Oregon State University. I took some time out of my classes today to be here to represent not just myself, but my classmates and my family and friends. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, and I hope to stay and work in Oregon. And this bill will definitely have an impact on me in my future. It will also have an impact on my classmates. As you heard, the average debt for a veterinary student is very high. I believe it's about $170,000 graduating. I have a friend who just told me when I told her I was coming here today, who she has $300,000 in debt. She is attending OSU. This is very overwhelming considering when we get out, we can expect to make in our first year. The number you heard before is for private practice, and that's about what 50% of graduates are doing. Almost 50% are going into continuing education, such as an internship or a residency, where they're making less than $30,000 a year for 2 to 3 years. And I wanted to say that because my friends and family live in Portland, I spoke to a lot of them about this. Yesterday I had coffee with my sister, who is a nurse practitioner in Portland, Oregon. She graduated with a debt of $120,000, and she is working over 50 hours a week in order to pay $1,500 a month on those student loans. She's been working for 5 years, and she still has over $70,000 in debt. I'm going to be in a very similar situation, and the idea of saving for retirement while paying off that debt is a little bit scary, and I feel like many of us have given up on the idea of buying a house anytime soon or starting a family. I realize that there are a lot of factors that come into play that lead to the increasing cost of education and increasing debt. And I know that one bill is not going to solve the entire problem, but it would take off a lot of financial pressure from those of us who have the loans to pay off and would allow us more money to contribute to the economy through buying homes and more time to spend with our families or to spend giving back to our communities. I thank you for listening to my story.
Thank you very much.
Chair Barnhart, members of the committee, my name is Caleb Hayes. I'm here on behalf of the College of Osteopathic Medicine of the Pacific Northwest, as well as the Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons of Oregon in support of House Bill 3342. This is a good bill. I don't have to tell you, I think our previous panelists did a good enough job, as well as some of the others, in explaining that student loan debt burdens are very problematic for many folks right here in Oregon. And in particular, when it comes to medical school, we see tuition prices go up, unfortunately, almost every year, no matter what we do to try and keep them down. And we're in a place where some of the students are coming out with upwards of $500,000 worth of debt. So this is an opportunity for us to incentivize a policy incentivize spending that makes sense on student loan interest. And it's an opportunity for us to help attract more doctors to Oregon, as well as nurse practitioners and other medical professionals that we need really bad right now. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you.